Hey guys, this is Karan Binani from Mobi Scrub and I'm quite excited today to review the Galaxy C9 Pro, the first ever smartphone from Samsung to come with 6GB of RAM and a 16 megapixel front-facing camera. It features a 6-inch Full HD display, it's dual SIM enabled and of course it's 4G LTE ready. The pricing on the retail box is about 41,700 rupees. However, it is selling at about 36,900 at the Samsung India e-store or Flipkart. It starts shipping 24th Feb, which was yesterday, with 1 year of Samsung warranty, and you get a one-time screen replacement for just rupees 990. Now, in the inside, you've got your standard quick start guide along with a SIM card pin, a Type-C reversible cable, which means you can't use a regular micro USB cable, and you've got a fast charger, which you're going to need because it has a 4000 milliampere hour battery. And then you have your earphones with inline microphone as well, but these aren't the same ones you get with the flagship devices like the S7 Edge or the deceased Note 7. You can't use the old micro USB cable, so Samsung puts in a micro USB adapter so that you can use one in case you do have it. Now, there are a couple of amazing things from a hardware and design perspective. You've got a gorgeous 6-inch Super AMOLED Full HD display, which is 1080 pixels by 1920 pixels. That's the screen resolution. A decent 16 megapixel camera with dual tone flash, which ensures that you get extremely natural pictures even with your flashlight on. And an amazingly sleek and thin body despite the massive screen. I'm comparing it to the Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge, which I think is one of the most beautiful and sleek phones that Samsung ever created. The S6 Edge is about 7mm thick, and the C9 Pro is just about 6.9mm thick, which means it's even sleeker than the S6 Edge in spite of the huge display. Now, the phone weighs about 189 grams, which is a little heavy, but then it's got a big battery as well. At the bottom, you have the Type-C charging port and not a micro USB port, but you do get a micro USB adapter as I showed you earlier. And like most Samsung phones nowadays, you've got this one as well, which is dual SIM enabled, and you get the option to expand storage using a microSD card up to 256GB in size. Now at the back, you have a 16 megapixel camera with autofocus, face detection, and dual tone LED flash, ensuring that you get natural color balance when you take pictures even with flash on. And you've got a pretty impressive 16 megapixel camera in the front, which is quite new, and I've heard it really takes some amazing pictures, unlike most other front camera smartphones. The entire thing is a single unit. You can't remove the rear panel or anything to replace the battery. It's all sealed. Had they made this water and dust resistant as well, I would have been tempted to call this their new flagship device, if anything. Now let's get into the software. The C9 Pro ships loaded with Android Marshmallow 6.0.1. However, it would be tough for me to comment whether this would receive the Android Nougat update. You can hope, but you can never be too sure. We're still awaiting the Android 7 update on the S7 Edge, so this one comes right after, if at all. It comes with fingerprint sensor, which I have simply come to believe is the fastest and the most secure way of unlocking your phone. The best thing is that C9 Pro comes loaded with the latest version of Samsung TouchWiz, which was first featured with the Note 7. TouchWiz is Samsung's own design over the Android design that makes the phone more useful and better for Samsung users. And as you can see, that there are a couple of things that are over and above Android features that you can use on Samsung smartphones, and that's what TouchWiz does. Now, the screen transition, the animations are just beyond smooth. They're so flawless and quick. The 6GB RAM along with the Octa core processor work really well together to launch apps or switch between apps at lightning speeds. You can see that the new TouchWiz features a new notification panel with a nicer white theme and immediate access to some commonly used options within each setting. For example, with Wi-Fi enabled, you can quickly look at available Wi-Fi networks and connect from right there instead of going all the way inside settings. So same goes for let's say ring profiles or Bluetooth networks or power saving options and so on. I mean, you don't have to get all the way inside the settings panel to do that. You've got everything right in front of you, and I think that really makes a couple of things easier. And that's just a blue light filter, and again, you can just monitor or change the setting from the window right there, and that's what it does. There are a couple of preloaded apps that the C9 Pro comes shipped with. Would that include the entire Google suite of applications, some Microsoft apps, and Samsung has taken a conscious effort of not preloading the phone with a lot of their own apps, leaving it up to the user to install them. And there are plenty of Samsung apps that I really like, and some of them are Samsung Music, which is its own music player, the Samsung Translator, and the Samsung Smart Switch that's utilized used basically to transfer content from your old phone to the new phone. And of course, you have the entire Google Suite, and you've got Play Music right here. And that's important because the phone does not come with Samsung Music by default. But you can go into Galaxy Essentials or into Galaxy App Store and download Samsung Music from there. Now you can also lock apps and ensure that some of them only open up when you apply your fingerprints or when you enter in an unlock code. You can also hide apps from here. And there are many apps that do that already, but this feature now comes built in with the C9 Pro. Now, something that's new is the S power planning. It basically optimizes your battery performance depending on what features are important to you at that moment. You can optimize battery life to ensure that you're able to receive more of calls, or you can simply double the time. Another feature which simply forwards your phone calls to a specified number in case your battery level falls below 15%. And I think this is just a great way that Samsung is now trying to get you more and more out of your available battery. But I really cannot insist enough about the performance of the device. The octa-core processing is achieved by 2 quad-core processors running together to optimize performance and deliver as and when required. And add to this 6 GB of RAM and a 64 GB internal memory, the device is a monster. I'm playing Modern Combat 5 on this screen right now, and as you can see that there's absolutely no lag whatsoever. Even a game like Chameleon Run, which fairly requires huge amounts of processing power and RAM, the game runs really smooth. And as you can see right here, there's absolutely no lag or any stutter or any frame skipping. It's just really, really beautiful on this huge display. But I really have to give it away to this phone. It's amazingly quick. Just look at the speed with which it's opening apps. I'm just tapping them and going out of them, and it's super fast. And to top all of this up, the C9 Pro comes with a 4000 mAh battery. And that's a hell lot of juice for the entire day. I plug it at around 8:30, plug it out at about 8:30 a.m. in the morning, and I'm fairly a heavy user with constant messaging, multiple active social profiles, enterprise email, and plenty reading through the day, including about 1 to 2 hours of music playback in my car with a Bluetooth connection. And I have it connected to my smartwatch using the same Bluetooth connection, and this thing lasts me one full day without any problem. Even the power saving has been upped a little. I can now cycle through multiple power saving options and set it to either mid or max, depending on how desperate I am to save battery power. An app power monitor is something you can manually enable for few apps in case you feel the need to stop them from using more battery when you're not using them. So for example, I don't need Savan, which is a music streaming app. I don't need it to be on all the time because I'm not expecting a notification. But then I cannot switch off Instagram, for example. Because those are the apps I need constant notifications from. But again, I think it's great that Samsung's built that in. So all I have to do is, let's say I tap on Savan and then I say save power. So now the 0.11% of battery power that it was utilizing every hour goes to none. So that way I really save a lot of battery. Now, the C9 Pro comes with a 16 megapixel rear-facing camera and a 16 megapixel front-facing camera. Both the cameras are capable of full HD video recording, that's 1080p. But let's talk about the new camera software first. Now, you can double tap the home button to launch the camera, or you can just tap the camera app, of course. But I think it's really fast if you do that. You can swipe left to look at camera modes. And you can swipe right if you want to look at filters, those are inbuilt. And at the top, you've got download, so you can download more filters from the Galaxy App Store. And again, if you go into modes, you can download additional modes as well. Now, a new feature, you can swipe up and you can activate the front-facing camera, or you could swipe down again to come back to activate the rear-facing camera. Now, the camera can shoot full HD videos. However, unlike devices like the Galaxy S7 Edge or the Note 7, you cannot shoot ultra high definition videos. And even the full HD videos that you shoot are not at 60 frames per second, it's at 30 frames per second. So you cannot have ultra smooth videos either. But let's remember, the C9 Pro comes at a nearly 3/4 the cost of a flagship device. So it's alright if it can't shoot UHD videos or very smooth videos. It still does a pretty good job at capturing videos, and definitely good enough to post on your social media profiles like on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube also. Overall, I feel the C9 Pro is nearly as good as Samsung's flagship devices like the S6 Edge or even the S7, simply from a design and experience perspective. Obviously, it's not as high-end performing as them, or the camera is not as brilliant as found in those devices, but it's still a pretty great smartphone at its price point. A beautiful, massive, colorful display and amazingly fast when it comes to performance. If you're looking for a great looking smartphone at about 35,000 rupees, I'd recommend this, or you could also still go for the Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge, which comes at about the same price point, but it's slightly smaller in size, so it's more manageable. But if you want a big display, great performance, and a great battery life, then I think the C9 Pro is a clear choice.